Sarah.
Hey.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I think this ought to be plugged in somehow. Is there an outlet? Where's the nearest outlet? Is there any near outlets?
I don't know if it needs to be plugged. Does it need to be plugged in? Let me ask Laura. She's like the operator here.
Mrs. Yaffe, is there an extension cord to plug in the system?
Not that I know of. I'll look. I'll see if we go.
You're Chaya, is that right? Chaya Ben Yonason?
Laura said it doesn't need to be plugged in.
What?
It doesn't need to be plugged in.
Leave the door open, please.
Oh, sorry.
I get claustrophobic.
Gotcha.
When there's no students, I get claustrophobic. Okay, so, hi, Tova,
Hello.
here you are. Malka. Good morning, Malka. And, oh, this is, I don't see your name. Lo is your name? Lo? I don't see your name on the list. Lo, what's your first name?
Gabriella. Gabriella.
Deborah?
Gabriella.
Gabriella.
Yeah.
Okay, glad to see you again. And this is Rachel. Yeah, hi, Rachel. Okay, we're in the middle of chapter 10. We're discussing the difference between a tzaddik, complete tzaddik, very rare personality, and the incomplete tzaddik. The difference is that the complete tzaddik is totally 100%. Good, that is to say, he is in complete touch with his godly soul. His divine soul is guiding him every step of the way. No interference, no static, no wrong decisions. Everything is exactly the way Hashem wants it to be, because his godly soul is part of Hashem, like we learned in chapter 2. Remember? Okay, Nefesh Hashenis b'Yisrael, he chelek Elokam imal mamash. The second soul in a Jewish person is God. So that the Tzaddik Gamor, he is guided and ruled by the second soul, just like Moshe Rabbeinu or Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. The incomplete tzaddik is not there yet. The incomplete tzaddik still has some vestige of unholiness in him that has not been converted and made into good. What's the difference in their psychological makeup? The difference is that the complete tzaddik hates anything that's not holy, hates anything that is not connected, totally connected with his godly soul. It's human. It's normal. That's the way the godly soul operates. The tzaddik who is not complete comes close to that, but the difference between close and being there is an entire universe. There's still something remaining of his animal soul, the desires of the animal soul, but they are inoperative. Okay, that's where we're up to so far. So therefore, this person, the tzaddik who is not complete, he hates anything that is not connected to holiness with a total hatred. He says, Hashem, look into my heart. You'll see that that's the truth. That's the godly, that's the complete tzaddik. The incomplete tzaddik has some vestige of the animal soul that here on page, top of page 156 has not actually been converted to good. Okay? It has not become good. It's like the pawn that didn't get to the end of the chessboard. Didn't become a queen. Why is this? Because it still has some hold on his soul. On the level of the Begodim Tzoyim, the arena of our spiritual struggle is the clothing that we wear. Physical clothing make a statement to the world. Spiritual clothing are what we think and what we say and what we do. These are spiritual clothes. And here there's room for struggle. So the tzaddik who is incomplete, he still has some connection to the spiritual clothes of the animal soul. Elishu botel b'miute b'kolei chashiv. But the presence of these negative inclinations is so minimal that it has no effect. It's not a still small voice. It has no voice. It's not even a whisper. It would like to whisper, but it can't. Because all the life has been taken out of it almost completely. Now, in this almost area, there are thousands of levels. So it is so small that it's as if it's not there. Since it's only as if it's not there, he's not a complete tzaddik. He is an incomplete tzaddik. It's there, but it's as if he's not there, but it really is there. So he can't say on him that he's a complete tzaddik. Now moving down, page 156. Therefore, loche nikra tzaddik v'ra. So therefore he's called a tzaddik v'raloi. He has ra. Remember on page 1 of the Tanya, we have the two visions of the tzaddik. Tzaddik v'toivloi, tzaddik v'raloi. Tzaddik who has good, tzaddik who has bad. This is the tzaddik who has bad. What does it mean he has bad? Interpretation number 1 from the Talmud is he suffers. Interpretation of the Tanya means he has some vestige of the Yetzer Hara still hanging around. But it's bottle. What does it mean bottle? We gave the example of a huge pot of chicken soup with no meat in it, just the soup, and one drop of milk falls in, then it's insignificant. Or one drop of grape juice falls into the Atlantic Ocean. It's bottle. That's to say, it's insignificant. So this is a tzaddik who has ra, but the ra is insignificant. Kolei chashiv. Thank you.
I don't know where the plug is.
You don't know where the plug is.
No, I don't know where the plug is.
It's in the wall.
Really?
I don't think it needs to be plugged in.
A thoughtless electrician
Ah.
who didn't make a good plan. There it is on the other side.
I don't know if it's gonna work, this one here.
There it is. We have to
Maybe
turn
it will,
the
maybe it will.
have to turn the class around or get a longer extension. Or else it's warming up. We don't have to be in this room. We could be in the other room. Don't need heat today. Okay, but we'll go on. Okay, and therefore, page 156 at the bottom, not because he has this vestige of impurity, of an insignificant quantity still hanging around. So he's an incomplete tzaddik, and his love of Hashem is also incomplete. It's tainted ever so little. So since his love of Hashem is not perfect, so therefore he's an incomplete tzaddik, and this is the definition of the two terms. Tzaddik who has bad, and therefore he's also called the tzaddik who's incomplete. Two terms for the same thing, two sides of the same coin. Page 157. And now, this level of the tzaddik baraloi has millions of subdivisions because there are variables. There are variable factors here we have to take into account. Like we spoke about the other day with Sarah Abigail. There's kamos and there's eiches. Kamos means how much, and eiches means what's the flavor of it, what's the texture of it, what's the feeling in it. So a person can do a mitzvah in great quantity and give large amounts of money to charity. The eiches is, does he give it with a smile? Does he give it with a nice, a friendly word? Does he inquire about the health and welfare of the family of the person who's receiving the charity? Or does he do it coldly, just through the secretary? Doesn't want to meet with anybody, just tells the secretary, give him a donation. We give everybody the same amount. So these are, or like when you buy clothing, you buy sheets. You can buy cotton sheets, flannel sheets, linen sheets, best quality. And people who know the difference. Fitted sheets. So these are aspects of the quality. So depending on the quantity and the quality of the vestige of Yetzer Hara that's left, the stain that's left over in the soul of this tzaddik, we have all these different levels. Every percent of a percent is a different level. Is a world between them. Mehine Medregazu, it says on 157 at the top. Medregazu mischalekes, this level can be subdivided into rivaves. Rivava means tens of thousands of medregas, of levels. Beinyan bechinis miyutara. Well, how do we determine these levels? Well, how small? We say there's only a little bit of evil left. Well, there's like this one drop that falls of grape juice in the Atlantic Ocean. Well, how big was the drop? How big was the drop? You know the difference between a shlemiel and a shlemazel? The shlemiel is a waiter. He's waiting on table. The shlemazel has no mazel. He's ordered the food. Comes the shlemiel and spills the soup on the shlemazel. Comes the nudnik and says, what kind of soup was it? So depending on how tiny, how minuscule is the amount of ra that's left in the tzaddik sheina gamor, that's one factor that determines the different levels of tzaddikim. Hanishar me'achas, for instance, in kashrus, we say if the drop, the undesirable drop, the drop of milk in the chicken soup is only 1 part in 60 of the whole pot, then we just stir it in, it loses its significance. On the other hand, if I have a different kind of substance like truma, we need 1 part in 50, 1 part in 100 to get rid of it. Or maybe I need one, or maybe I don't get rid of it unless I have 1,000 times greater than its size, or even 10,000 times greater than its size, or like wine of idol that was used for idol worship, then there's no limit. No matter how small it is, it never loses its potency as something that's not kosher. So there are various degrees. This is in the quality of the minute evil remaining, I would say the quantity from the 4 evil elements we learned about in chapter 1. In other words, where is the problem that this person has that he has not converted it to good? Is it because of the element of fire in his animal soul, which caused him to have just some slight tinge of self-awareness, of pride, of satisfaction in what he's doing? Or is he completely oblivious to himself? He's only, his whole being is just to serve Hashem. Or is it something that he used to always like very much, and he did it because he liked it? You know, the person coming close to Yiddishkeit says, can't I have any pleasure out of being Jewish? Why can't? The answer, of course you can, as long as you put the spin on it that you're doing it for Hashem. And if it's pleasurable, so much better. But if, to the extent that you do it just because it's pleasurable, that's not serving Hashem. That's not a tzaddik. That's a regular guy. Or is it a question of dibur? The tzaddik doesn't say anything improper. But maybe every word, it's not 100,000,000% exactly what it should be. And similarly with the element of earth, which causes sadness or causes laziness or lethargy, slowness. So depending on where is this problem coming from in his character, so we have a lot of different possibilities. So we have now the quantity and also the source. And here comes the quantity. Is it that one part in 1,000, one part in 10,000, and so on? So here we have the divisions of quantity and quality of this on his character that prevents him from being a complete tzaddik, but it's not operative, so he doesn't become a wicked person or even a Beinoni. V'hein, page 158 at the top, second Hebrew lines. This accounts what it says in the Talmud that there are tzaddikim harabim shebakol adaris in every generation. This question was brought up in class yesterday. There are tens and hundreds of thousands of tzaddikim in every generation. Even though it says that the Eibush tzaddik were very few and set them out, that's talking about the complete tzaddik. The complete tzaddik is a rare personality, very, very rare. But the incomplete tzaddik, Hashem has a lot of those. He has lots of those. K'de'isa b'Gemara, as it says, and he brings a source for this, that the Gemara itself testifies. This is Parshas Pekudei, which means testimonials. A testimonial means something comes, some idea is hidden, and someone comes and gives it veracity. He testifies about it that it really happened. So this week's Parsha is called Pekudei. It's about the testimonials. The Mishkan that the Jews built in the wilderness was a testimonial to the fact that Hashem took us out of Egypt, and that Hashem is our God, and that He is the ruler and master of the world. And therefore we have the 10 Commandments there, which are also called the Edus. They're called the tablets of the Edus, tablets which are testimonials. So the Mishkan is a testimonial, and the tablets of the law are testimonials, And the Jewish people themselves are a testimonial to the fact that there are Jews, that there's God in the world. Because according to the laws of nature, there shouldn't be any Jews left in the world for a few thousand years already. Okay, so we see in the Talmud that there are 18,000. The Talmud says, which Talmud is it? Sukkah. It says in the Gemara in Sukkah and Sanhedrin that there are 18,000 tzaddikim in any generation. And if there's 18,000, then there's 18,000 times 18,000 in any generation. Because every time you do a mitzvah with your full heart, you're one of those tzaddikim.
What is the 36?
What?
Because I've heard that there's 36 in each generation.
I can't hear you.
I've heard from other classes that there are 36 in each generation.
6?
36.
36. That's the hidden tzaddikim. That's what it says. There are 36 hidden tzaddikim in every generation. The Talmud says there are 18,000 tzaddikim. Maybe they're not hidden. Like you, everybody knows who you are. We know you tried to be one of the hidden ones, but we know the truth.
Cute. Anyways, so what's a generation?
What defines a generation?
Yeah.
Very good question. In general, we say a generation is like 10 years, 20 years. But on the other hand, we usually say the generation is according to the leader of the generation.
And then if you have an incomplete tzaddik, where there's a concept that a tzaddik is an incomplete soul, and that they
What?
like where if you have an incomplete tzaddik, but then there's also the concept that a tzaddik is a complete soul. So could that soul come back more than once if they were an incomplete tzaddik?
Yes. Every soul comes back more than once.
Well, but what if it's a complete tzaddik? They don't have extra things that they need to accomplish. They already accomplished it.
Oh, well, because they're not accomplishing for themselves. They're serving Hashem. The Yetzer Hara of a regular person is to try and that he should serve Hashem better. That he should be a better person. The Yetzer Hara of a tzaddik is that he should stay here in this world and do what Hashem wants from him. He has no desire for anything in this world at all. His whole desire is just to be together with Hashem, like it says in the name of the Alter Rebbe at the end of Hayom Yom. I don't want anything from any reward you can give me. That's not what I want. All I want is you. So Hashem says, "I'm sorry, but you've got work to do. Now just do your job."
So once the tzaddik passes away, that neshama can't come back into this world.
Well, not necessarily does it leave. You know, we mentioned this the other day, 1950 on the 10th day of Shvat, when there was a levaya for the Friediger Rebbe, and somebody said, "What are we going to tell this big supporter of ours? He gives so much money to support our yeshivas and keeps them going. We won't be able to operate." And the Rebbe said, "Tell him it's the same neshama in a different body." So that the neshama of the Alter Rebbe becomes embodied in the neshama and connected with the Mitzvah Rebbe. And the Mitzvah is like you have 10 aspects to your soul, right? Okay, so you have the way your soul operates through the quality of Chachma. And then you have the way your soul operates through the quality of Bina, but it's the same soul, right? So we have different Rebbeim. We've had 7 Rebbeim in Chabad, and the Baal Shem Tov and the Maggid. It's the same neshama in all of them. It's the same neshama. I always imagine, I never saw this in writing. I always imagined Moshe is going to come. I'm going to see the Rebbe because I have a connection with him. But at the same time as I'm looking at the Rebbe, I'm going to see the Alter Rebbe and the Mitzvah Rebbe and the Rebbe Tzemach Tzedek and the Rebbe Maharaj, all of them. And how much of them will I see? Well, it depends how much I learned, how much of a connection do I have with them? Did I learn the teachings of the Mitzvah Rebbe? Did I have a connection with it? Will I perceive it? The books are there. Did I open them? His teachings are available. But if I didn't learn them, so I'm not going to be much of a keli for it. I'm not much of a vessel for them. But it's the same neshama. I remember once a certain chassid said to me, we were walking through Mei Sharim in Yerushalayim to catch the bus, the taxi. And he sort of chuckled and he said, "You know, the Rebbe is greater than all the Rabbeim. I said, really? I've often felt that way, but I didn't know you could. How could you say such a thing? He said, because everything that the previous Rabbeim wrote and taught is in him, plus he's added more. And the Rebbe himself gave an example of it. It's also from the Talmud. If you have a giant, much bigger than everybody else in the generation, right? What if you have a midget and you put him on the shoulders of the giant? So he's bigger than everybody. Even though he himself could be a midget, but he's bigger than everybody. And then he chuckled and he said to me, yeah, but the Rebbe isn't a midget. So I hope this answers your question. It's very, deep question. What happens? Well, that's what I suppose. I can only tell you what I suppose, Malcolm. I never was in a yeshiva that they taught me what's really actually going on in Gan Eden, that I should know it. And when they do, when it's mentioned in my Maimorim, like in the Maimorim of the Rebbe Rashab, who does write about these things, it's very, very hard to understand. Okay, so we say that the Talmud testifies that in every generation there are 18,000 tzaddikim, and it's what the Rebbe is implying here, that these are the tzaddikim who are not the single one or two or three of every generation. The Abraham or Yitzchak or Yaakov, every generation. But they're students, they're followers, they're all the Rebbes who come from Rebbe Elimelech of Lezhinsk, the disciples who are tzaddik, also tzaddikim, but they are not their community, but they're not leaders of the whole Jewish people. 18,000 tzaddikim stand before Kamei HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now we're going to change the subject. Until now, we were speaking about the tzaddik who was not complete. What's the difference? Now let's look back to discuss the tzaddik who is complete. What do we have to say about him? Good morning, Chana. Do you hear from your family? Are you in touch? It's good? Oh, Hashem. Almal is Tzaddik Gomer. Concerning the Tzaddik Gomer, well, to know what the Tzaddik Gomer is all about, we have to listen to one of them. And that is Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Hush Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai. Now, Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, Malka, his great day is called Lag BaOmer. The 33rd day of the counting of the Omer. From Pesach to Shavuos, we count the days. On the 33rd day of the Omer, that's when Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai passed from this world. And this was a day of great revelation. He taught Torah. He was on such a level, they said about him, that by him it was exactly as if the Holy Temple in Jerusalem was never destroyed. The revelation of God in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem was by him all the time. And he was saying Hasidus. All the Hasidus we have is really based on his teachings, as they come to us through the Arizal and through the Baal Shem Tov and the Rebbeim and others. And he was saying Hasidus until he passed, until he was in the middle of a mimer when his soul went out. And the last word he said was Chaim, life, which connected him with his life with the life of the infinite. The Mittler Rebbe, the son of the Alter Rebbe, had the same experience. The doctor said he's not allowed to say Hasidus. He was very, very weak. He'll be too overwrought. So he was not allowed to say Hasidus. So then the situation was hopeless. The doctor said there's nothing more they can do. His son-in-law, who became the Tzemach Tzedek, the grandson, was his nephew, was with him, and they weren't in Lubavitch. He had gone to Hadich to be together with his father, the Alter Rebbe, and he was not well enough to return. So he's in the town of Liezhin. Do you know where, anybody here know where Liezhin is? I don't know where it is. Deep. I don't think it's in Ukraine. I think it's in Russia. But that's where he was. And so the doctor, Tzemach Tzedek, said maybe he could say, it's not going to make a difference. Nothing more he can do. Let him say Hasidus. So they whispered in his ear, he was allowed to say Hasidus. He sat up and in bed. The life came back into him. He was filled with energy. He said, you can send in the Hasidim who are here. They can have Yechidus. And he began to say a mimer. Then he interrupted the mimer. And he saw more Hasidim. And then he continued with the mimer. And then he saw more Hasidim. And then he continued with the mimer again. And in the middle of the mimer, his soul went out. And the last word he said was the word Chaim. And his son-in-law, Rabbi Menachem Mendel, said something like this has not happened since the time of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is the author of a very famous book. It's the basis of Kabbalah and mysticism called the Yes. The Zohar. So Rabbi Shimon says about talking, who more qualified to talk about the Tzaddik Omer than Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, I have seen Ra'isi B'nai Aliyah. He calls them the B'nai Aliyah. I have seen the B'nai Aliyah, very similar to the quote in the first chapter, where Hashem says, Hashem looked into the souls of the tzaddikim in the great repository of souls, which is a spiritual body. Souls belong in bodies. So spiritual souls, they're not yet born, they belong in the spiritual body, spiritual goof. Hashem says in the Medrash that Hashem looked into this repository of souls. He says, I saw the tzaddikim that they were very few. So I set them out in every generation. Here Rabbi Shimon echoes that statement. I have seen the souls of the B'nai Aliyah. This is an important phrase. B'nai Aliyah. They are the masters of Aliyah. A master, like a chess master, yeah? So we say a person who excels in a certain area is called a son of that area. Like he's a Ben Chachma, he's very, very wise. Or he's a Ben Shemen, he has a lot of oil. Ben Aliyah means he's a master of making aliyahs. And spiritually, he's constantly going higher and higher and higher. Says Rabbi Shimon, I have seen the B'nai Aliyah, translates it here as superior men. Aliyah means to go up, and they are but few. Shehem mu'atim. So this comes, the Alter Rebbe brings this as a proof text that there are 18,000 tzaddikim in every generation, but the B'nai Aliyah amongst them are very few. 1 or 2 or 3 in a generation. Shalach and Nikroim B'nai Aliyah. And why are they called masters of Aliyah? We're going to have to end with this thought here. They're called masters of Aliyah for a couple of reasons. One is, obviously, that they themselves are very, very high. Just like a person is called a Ben Shemen because he has a lot of oil. Or a Ben Das because he's very, very smart. Ben Chachma because he's very wise. So a Ben Aliyah is called a son of Aliyah because he's constantly going higher and higher in holiness. But here the Alter Rebbe gives a different explanation. He says they're called B'nai Aliyah not just because of themselves, that they themselves are high. It's because of what they do. And what is it they do that makes them deserving of this title, that they're masters of Aliyah? They take everything in the world And they're so positive that they make it into a positive thing. They convert everything that's negative into positive. To take a clean suit and make it dirty, you don't have to be brilliant. To take a dirty suit and make it clean, that's special. So the B'nai Aliyah, they take everything from that they come in contact with in the world that is impure, that is to say, it's not dedicated to holiness, and they convert it and they make it into something that's completely holy and belongs in Hashem's holy temple. And they elevate it, into the realms of complete holiness. And if you want to see this in action, you just watch the gem videos of people coming to the Rebbe and how the Rebbe takes everything they say. It seems like it looks so easy. It looks so easy. It's not easy at all. The Rebbe has to come onto the level of the person who's in front of him, hear what he's saying, see what he needs, take it, transform it, give it back to him, and send him off on a new life with a new lease on life. Then he has to take off that person's spiritual clothing, put it back on his own spiritual clothing in order to confront the next person who's coming up. This is an exhausting spiritual labor. It says when the Rebbe Maharash would see people afterwards, his clothes were soaked, drenched from perspiration. They said, why? He says, because when you take off your clothes and put them back on again so many times, it takes a lot of effort. And our Rebbe is so great that he does it one after the other. He can see 5,000, 7,000 people in one day. On and off, on and off, on. You see him, he gives out $1, he's looking at the next guy, Amazing. And I heard an extraordinary video. I went to Oil on Sunday. I heard an extraordinary video from a person I didn't know he'd passed away. I didn't know who he was, though we were not good friends. We weren't friends at all. We lived in different communities in England. He was a well-known personality, wealthy person. He was a grandson of the Vishnitzer Rebbe. And he came to the Rebbe, he said, before I had Yechidus with the Rebbe, I could not understand how so many people would come to the Rebbe, each one with his different problems and his different issues, and they would all come out happy. They would all come out calm and satisfied. I couldn't understand it. He didn't say until I went in, but I mean, this is what he described. He says, when I went in, I'm going to leave this with you to think it over and you'll discuss it among yourselves. He says, he read the note that I had written, and then he looked up and I just saw his eyes, deep pools, like deep pools, that's what he said, of blue. And I felt, not that I had come to see the Rebbe, he made me feel that he had come to see me. And that answers his question. Because when everybody comes to such a person like the Rebbe, and everybody feels that the Rebbe came to see them, that's why they go out feeling so happy. And you read testimonies, everybody says the same thing. They went to see the Rebbe, they came out feeling very calm. My brother-in-law, he should be well. He's been fighting for his life in the hospital with pneumonia. He's almost 90 years old. And he needs a refuah shalema. Beryl Yitzchok Ben Jenny Rivka should have a refuah shalema. He came here once in his life, only once in his life, when my son had a bris. He came for the bris. And then we went downstairs and the Rebbe was having his aliyah. I hope maybe I could get an aliyah. I'm making a bris that day, but no, it was already taken. So we just went down and we saw there were thousands of people in shul because it was Tishrei time. Shul was very, very crowded. And we just saw the Rebbe coming up onto the bimah and having his aliyah. And that was it. There was no exchange. The Rebbe didn't see my brother-in-law. But afterwards I said to him, what did you think about being downstairs? He said, it was the most moving religious experience of my life. He didn't see the Rebbe, he didn't talk to the Rebbe, didn't confront the Rebbe. Just he saw the Rebbe going up. To them was the defining religious experience of his life. It says when Moshe Rabbeinu was on Mount Sinai and Hashem revealed to him the quality of truth, he fell on his face. When a person sees the Rebbe, that's what you're looking at. Have a great day, girls. Thank you very much. Somebody please fill in the attendance sheet. I was careful doing that during the class.
Rabbi,
Good morning. Yes. Who's calling?
I have a question. It's not about like finance, it's like a silly question. I'm just wondering, I'm doing like a little thing for the newsletter. And I'm wondering if you remember when you were a kid, like what's a silly Purim costume that you wore? Like what's your favorite costume that you wore when you were younger?
No,
No?
didn't have any costumes.
Okay.
It's coming back over.
Tova,
Yes.
the first time I celebrated Purim, I was 27 years old.
Wow.
Did you not 27 years old, right? What are you looking for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this one?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Wednesday.
Okay, Bina, no. Iberka, yes.
No, wait, that's
It's so
Thursday,
nice.
Wednesday.
This one is so nice.
What the column next to it.